Hello everybody. In this screencast we're going to look at pull parsers. So pull parsers are parsers that are also efficient, but the XML pull parser allows you to step through the events. You know, the sax parser, you register a handler and then the handler receives the events. You don't have control over these events, but you can write logic around the events as they arrive. The pull parser, no, you are pulling these events, meaning that you are stepping through these, you're iterating over the events, right? It's a little bit different. So what happens is that it's really simple how you can have a pull parser. So this is the code that we had last time, and let's make it point to the person. Let's parse a person just to start with, right? So I'll not even create a class. The nice thing about it is that you can create all of this inside a loop because you are going to iterate over them, right? So let's say we're going to get a person. Okay, that's the person we're going to get, a new person, right? So we're going to create a person. Now we need to parse that person based on what we're seeing here. All right. Okay. So now what you need to do is get a pull parser. So to do that, you use just boilerplate code, which is the XML pull parser factory. Okay, here it is. We call it factory equals XML pull parser factory dot new instance. All right, here it is. So basically that's one. And this is probably not happy because it needs to be, it can generate an exception. So basically you need to surround it by try catch. Here we are. I'll also move this person up here. Okay. Okay. So now here is the person. And now we have the factory, and you use the factory to set up some settings for the XML pull parser factory. Basically, are you going to be namespace aware or no? I don't have a namespace here, but if it does, maybe you want to be namespace aware. So basically, if you see factory dot namespace aware and you set it to true or false, you know. So I'm not going to set it up here. I don't have any namespaces here. So so now to get the parser, it's called an XML pull parser. How do I know? If you say factory dot, then there is new XML parser. So here is new XML parser. So it's called the XML pull parser. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do XML pull parser, and I'll call it parser. Okay, here it is. Okay. So that's how you get your parser. Okay, very straightforward. It's 2 lines. You get the parser through 2 lines. Right, that parser now you need to tell it about the input stream and the information and so on, right? So basically, and so parser dot set, here it is, set input, and you give it the input stream. All right, and basically you need to also tell it about the encoding and all that interesting stuff. So let's say we give it the input stream, and we know how to do that. It's the response. It's the response dot body dot byte stream. Here it is. And the encoding is UTF-8, right? That's our encoding. There might be a variable that we could use, XML pull parser dot encoding or UTF-8 encoding. All right, so it doesn't seem, but anyhow, it's UTF-8, the input encoding. Now we told it about the input stream. Now the parser is not going to start. You have to tell it what to do. Okay, so what happens is that this parser has events. So basically you could say int event. This is the event type. So these events have types, right, as we saw before. And you say the parser, right, dot, and you tell it get event type. So that gives you the event type right now. And the event type right now is probably document start, right? So that's the event type right now. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to have a while statement, while the event type is not equal to XML pull parser dot document end. If it's not, then we are going to continue, right? If it's not, we are going to continue. And we know at the end, before this, at the end of this loop, we are going to do what? Event type. We have to go get the next event. And to get the next event, you say parser, and you say, for example, dot next. Okay, that's basically what we are going to do. You know, so basically you write your logic here, basically, and then you tell it, hey, get me the next event. So basically the first event is this one, right? And then the second one, and so on. And you tell, give me the next one. This is the next one. Give me the next one. This is the next one. Give me the next one. This is the next one, and so on. And sorry, this is the next one, 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 and so on, right? Okay, so now you have the event type. So basically, because you have the event type, now you can do the same logic that we did in the previous example. So now let's say we know that if the event type is equal to, right, is equal to XML pull parser, XML pull parser dot document what? Start document, right, or start tag, right? So basically, it's called here. It's called start tag, right? So start tag means it's starting, right? So here it is. Also, you have the other one, else. There it is. And you could also have another else. So basically, there is start tag. There is now end tag. Here is the end tag, and then there is. So yes, that's basically the main ones are start tag and end tag. You can also have text, which is the one that gives you about is that there is text, right? And basically, what we could do if you want to catch that text, all you have to do is just say get text. So basically, I could say log d. I could say, for example, parser dot get text, and it will get you the text. You know, so basically, if there is some text that it can see, for example, here, it will get you the text. Here, we don't need a buffer because this is one of the events. You catch it, you get the text. So now this one is when there is text. Okay, I'll say text, and the other ones are. Here we are. This is when this is end tag. Okay, and this is start tag. So basically, in the end tag and the start tag, I'm interested not in the text. I'm interested in the attributes. I'm interested in the name of the name of the tag, right? So basically, here it is. You could say get name. So it gets you the name of the tag, meaning that when this starts, I'll see that it's person. And similarly here, when the tag ends, I can get its person also, right? So I can say get name, right? So that gets me the name of the tag, and so on. So basically, I can catch specific things. Like for example, if it's start tag, I can go in and get the attributes also, right? We'll look at that in a little bit. But let's see if we are able to run this and see if I know we don't have a person yet, but you will see that this will trigger something that will print to the log, and we can look at that. Okay, it crashed for some reason. We'll look at it in a little bit, but let's see what happened. Okay, see here, there is a start tag. Maybe I need to put a small space here so that we could see it better. Run it again. All right, I'll look at why there is a problem with. We'll look at it in a little bit, but you could see here that this is end tag for the person, and we're doing next. Okay. So we'll look at that in a little bit, but at the end of the day, you could see that we are able to. You could see that, for example, see start tag person, start tag name. So basically, start tag person, and then start tag name, and then start tag age, and so on. So basically, when the person starts, now you can do some if-else statements here over the parser.getName. So you could say if the parser.getName is equals person, right? So maybe this is the time to get the attribute. So I could do, for example, person.set ID. I can get the attribute, right? To what? I can do the parser. Everything you ask the parser. And let's say get attribute by name. Okay. So I'm interested in get attribute. And again, I want to get the attribute value by name, right? So basically, it's this one, right? So basically, we go here. The first one is the namespace. I don't have a namespace, so I put null, and then the name of it is ID. All right, so that's how you set your ID. How do you get the attributes? Is this way. Now, this is the only thing that we're going to use with regard to get name, right? So that's the tag start. We are more interested in what? Oh yeah, here also in tag start, you can ask it to get you the text. So let's say else if, I'll show you. This is a little bit different than the Sax parser. So here it is. For example, if it's name, I know I can get the name. So basically, if it's name, right? If it is equal to name, right? Then what I could do, I could say person dot set name. Okay, now I can tell it to go and get the text. Person dot get or text. Okay, sorry, not person. parser dot text. See, next text. Get me the next text. So basically, when you tell it to get you the next text, because you know after the name, you know that there is a next text that show up, right? So now let me remove this text. I don't need this text anymore. I'm not going to use it this way. I'm going to use it like this, meaning that whenever I see a name, like when name starts, I tell it, hey, get me the next text, because I know after the name starts, there is some text I'm interested in, right? And similarly, I can do the same thing for the age. Here it is, the age. And I'll do that. Set age is the name, set age is the text, and so on. Now, that's with regard to the age, and then I can go here. I could say, for example, else if it's address, right? Now it's time to do what? Set address to new address. This is when you initialize the address. Very nice. Now what we could do here is that we say else if person, the same story. That's what, like we did again. Get address is not equal to null. This means that we are gonna be interested in getting the address. And now we do the same exact scenario of these ones. So basically we'll come here but for the address information, right? If the name is equal to line 1, I will get address dot set line 1 to the text, right? So that's what we're going to do here, and we'll say else, here we are, else, here we are, and else, here we are. So basically we did the address, we did the line 1. Let's do city, and we are going to do the state, and we're going to do the zip code, and basically here we're going to set, okay, here we are, get name. Here we're going to set the city. Here we're going to set the state, and here we're going to set the zip code. So basically what is happening here is that you are moving over these events. Let me close this. So basically you are moving over these events. You see, you start with the first event, and then you check to see if it's document end or no. Now if it's tag starts, if it's a person, all we do is the person is already created here. We can create it here also if we need to. And basically I can do that. I could say person equal new person, right? You can do that here like this. And in that case, the person, when we initialize it, it doesn't have a value. So here it is, okay? So now this becomes a new person, right? Now it's not happy because that person initializes variable person, right? So the problem is that it might think that that person is not null, right? So anyway, let's do this new person, okay? Anyhow, so we could do something like this: a new person, the person set name, and that's how we are getting the attribute, because this is person start, and that's the time to get the attribute. And then here, if the name of the node is equal to name, this name, now we don't have to wait till the text arrives. You can tell it, hey, get me the text. How? You say dot next text, parser dot next text, and it's going to get you the next text. All right. So that's how you get the next text. And let's see. So basically, let's run this and see what it looks like. We'll fix this issue in a little bit. Document, start, on response. These are the start tag, end person, and then there is a start document. Where does this happen? Where is that start document coming from? Oh, this code we need to remove. This was the old code. Okay. Now we run this. Now we should have a person by that stage, right? So let's say log D, and I'll just print the person, just to see if we are able to get the person or no. All right. Let's run this again. And here we are. We did get the person. You see here the name of the person, the age of the person, the ID, and the address information is correct. All right. So this is very simple and very compact. You could see here we can write the code in really, really compact form. And basically we are able to get the person information by simply just calling this get text. Makes our life, or next text, dot next text, makes our life easier. We don't have to have a buffer and manage a buffer and so on, right? So that's this. So we did demonstrate how to parse a person, just one person, right? What if we want to do the list of persons? The same scenario. So let's say to do the list of persons, so instead of person.xml, and we do this persons, right? Okay. So now this means that we need to have an array list of person. Okay, and call it persons equal new array lists of persons. Here is a new array list of persons, right? And all of that stuff is exactly the same, right? And basically this is the event type. Now we have to think about when you meet a person, right? When you meet a start of a person, see here, when you meet the start of a person, we create a new person. This means it's a new person that you need to create, and you set its ID, and everything here is very similar, because now for that person that you just created, we are managing the information for that person, meaning we are adding the name and so on. The only thing we need to add is when to add that person to the array list. Here we could say if parser.getName equals person. This means when you are closing the person tag, meaning here, when you are here, this means that you have already acquired all the data for that person, and it's time to put that person in the array list. Okay, so persons.add person. All right, so that we can do something like that, and we added the person to the array list, and that's it. Actually, the only change is this. That's it, because this code will still capture all the persons. So now we go here, I'll just say persons, and we can run it and see if we're getting this data. Yeah, here's the first person, Bob Smith, and the address for Bob Smith, and it's only getting one. It's pretty weird. Why is it getting only one? Did we change the array? Oh yeah, I didn't change the URL. I need to change the URL to point to persons, right? Now we go back. All right, here it is. You see here's the array list. It has Bob Smith, and then if you move a little bit, you will see Niveen, and so on. And I'm able to get all the data for all of them, right? And so on. So that's the pull parser. It's very concise. The code is really concise and very easy to understand. You also have the ability to capture the code, because to see the code in front of you, you don't have to think about building a handler that the handler is going to catch the events. You control the events. You tell it to go next. All right. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.